While going through more footage of the Boston free speech rally, I found this little clip on Duerst the Wuerst channel. So if you want to see the full clip, I'll leave a link to it in the description below. And first I wanted to point out this genius that is using his hand as a mask. Just get a load of this fucking guy.
What about Tim Pool over there?
That's Tim Pool?
Yes, he's a fairly big YouTube guy. Yeah, he's the most. He and I are one of the more benign.
Can
I interview you? What? Can I interview you? Turn the phone on you, interview you, ask one question. What are you asking?
I'd like you to please go back down.
Dude, this is ridiculous, man. I just want to interview you.
You're just being a dick.
You actually came over to me to be a dick, dude. To be an authoritarian dick.
People at Antifa are seemingly very paranoid about being identified by video evidence, which, if you're not planning on doing anything wrong, if you're not planning on bashing anyone's head with, say, a bike lock, then no one's going to try to identify you and dox you. At least, that's what led to the previous person having been doxed. Now, the other thing is, these people are a little bit more communicative and organized than I had anticipated. I figured they were just a bunch of idiots, incompetent, etc. But I'm sure you noticed in the clip, and this is why I picked it out and decided to talk about it, is he had a very, very cleverly hidden walkie-talkie. So he later went on to confront Tim Pool and tell him that he wasn't allowed to film, despite the fact that they were on public property, and Tim Pool and Duerst the Wuerst had every reason and every right to film. And look how much this next Antifa superstar is shaking when talking to Tim Pool. Take a look at his hand tremble as he holds his own phone recording.
Their motto is, the more you tell us to go, the more we'll stay.
Look, if both sides were to use their phones and document everything, it wouldn't be a bad thing. It would lead to more people being accountable. And I have continuously seen Antifa falsely have people arrested, claim that they were assaulted when they were only there to peacefully protest, despite the fact that there is numerous evidence out there. We've looked at this in previous videos, if you guys have been subbed for a while, of Antifa members pulling people into the ground and stomping on them, throwing glass bottles with M80s, smashing them over the head with bike locks, and that's not even just a few isolated incidents. They happen all the damn time. My favorite one was when they detonated a smoke grenade upwind, and it went right back into their faces. It was beautiful. This apparent organization of Antifa is beginning to make me wonder. It's beginning to make me wonder how far this goes. Is it just the mayor of Berkeley, or does it extend? And I've always heard about George Soros. But could this all be true? Could this all be Media Matters, MoveOn.org, all of these, what were they, media critics? And then you have Snopes and Facebook doing fact-checking of articles that falsely fact-check things. At least falsely fact-check things that fits into their preferred narrative. That's another thing that you've probably seen in my previous videos in the channel if you've been around for a while. That reminds me, I need to address reading through the comments for the last video regarding the Boston free speech rally. So a lot of the people in the comment section were adamant about saying, no, these people weren't the alt-right. The alt-right is Richard Spencer. And I agree. I probably, I was misled, or I jumped to conclusions when the militia guy showed in one of the clips. He talked about, he says, we're that alt-right you heard about. And I shouldn't have assumed that everyone there was affiliated with him, which is what I did. So what a lot of people were saying is that these, it was essentially Pol and Kekistan, and a lot of the people who were just meme revolutionaries, they're alt-light, which is completely different. And if you want to know what alt-light is, that's the alt-light. And nice touch with the milk, too. It's disappointing knowing no one's doing the okay sign. So my reasoning for doing this video was to show you the little clip of the guy telling the Antifa member about Tim Pool, just casually. And once identified, he used a very discreet pager system, or like a walkie-talkie, that was pretty imperceivable if you weren't paying attention to it, to talk to someone and say, hey, Tim Pool is filming us. And they're so worried about being filmed, it would only be an issue if they do something wrong. So this to me shows an intent to commit some sort of crime. They are organized and they intend to commit violence. And I imagine people filming them is what's preventing people from getting hurt. So all of you people out there who are the real heroes, really, out there with your cameras facing these maniacs, these masked, weapon-wielding communists that are getting very little negative press by the mainstream media. The only people who are really coming at them are people like me, people like Tim Pool. And Tim Pool's less biased than I am. I am a bit biased against Antifa. I abhor everything that they have done recently. They have not done anything positive except when they're making absolute fucking fools out of themselves. We have to use their own tactics against them and hold them to their own standards. As a wise man once said, walk toward the fire, confront them. And we also need to remain very diligent and hyper-vigilant over the next coming months. They will very likely try to do some very dishonest, deceivious, and cowardly things in order to promote their agenda.